professionals, and it's a very stressful shot for the amateurs. You know, the one thing about that right there and why I was so confident stepping up to hit that, I'm not making contact with the ball. You know, and one thing that you have to understand, because you're not making contact with the golf ball, speed is your best friend. Speed's your best friend. We want to see you swing more aggressively out of the bunker. Now, what I like showing people a lot of times is this. The same swing that I just made right there to get that ball to go, what, we say that's about 35 feet, you guys, 40 feet? If I was to come back on grass and I was to make that exact same swing, you know, with the same force, that ball would have gone that far right there. I think it's important to understand. So when I'm in here, I'm taking that 45 feet we had and I'm almost turning that into yards in my mind and hitting that shot that far. All right, so I have some incredibly exciting news and an invite to each and every one of you. This year, Porzak Golf is starting to do clinics at the Grand Del Mar, and we just had such a blast doing it. So much fun. We're going to be taking these clinics to the Northeast, and in 2 weeks, we're going to start in with a nice fall clinic up in Westerly, Rhode Island. Accommodations at the beautiful Ocean House, and if you haven't seen the Ocean House or heard about it, oh my gosh, this place is incredible, you guys. And the golf will be hosted at a neighboring town in Stonington, Connecticut, at Lake Viles Golf Course, which I hear is just second to none as far as practice facilities. One of the best public golf courses in the state, and they've been so accommodating to Porzak Golf, so we thank them. But anyways, you guys, this is a special invite to each and every one of you who wants to take part in this clinic. If you're interested, please DM me. I'll get you details, and I hope to see you there. When the golf ball's here, you know, I'm not looking at the golf ball. I'm looking at a spot here, and I'm also understanding that even though I'm entering the sand here, my low point is over there. So even though I'm entering the sand behind it, my low point is still past it. This shot's just as much of mentality as it is a technique. I'm really thinking about hitting the imaginary golf ball underneath the golf ball. And that right there is really important. I'm not hitting just the ball itself. The one thing that's nice when you're in a practice bunker that you don't get the opportunity to do on the golf course is spend time just drawing a line. My dad and I used to do this all the time. We draw a line, and I would just sit there and I would just practice, you know, really trying to take a divot at that, there we go, past that line, right? So you can just kind of keep working down that line. And I pretend like that's the ball, and notice what I'm doing. See where the divot's starting? Behind where that line was, but see where it's continuing past where that line was. And that's important to understand your low point. Bottoming out too soon, bud. You got to get it, rotate and get closer to the ball. Okay, so see how far back this divot is? In the back of your stance. You need to get the divot up here. Okay? Take a divot right here.
Okay.
Like all up here. Like try to hit through the ball. Go around the left side. There it is. Now do that. Watch. Do that again over the golf ball. Around your left side. There's your best bunker shot of the day. Okay? Okay? You need the same mindset. Here, Leo, get in here. Let Dad in here real quick. Let's put pressure on Dad real quick. By the way, all the way from Mexico City right here. How cool is that? All the way through. From Colombia. Lived in Mexico City. Oh, you took his advice. Dad just took your advice. Dad just took your advice. He got through it. Yeah, you know, rotate around your left side though, Leo. Really get through it, okay?
Okay.
Oh, look at that. See, that gets it out. That's awesome, buddy. Hey, good shot, my man. That is fantastic. So when I'm in this shot, the common things that we're doing in setup, ball position, the way we hold the club, there's one thing we do differently here. I talked to you about the leverage between the lead arm and the golf club when you take your normal swing. Okay, there's an angle here. That angle helps us create a hinge. Okay, well, what's required to get this ball elevated up out of this high lip is really, it's important, that hinge. Because when those hands are lower, this angle here is what sets that club and creates more angle, okay? And it's really important to understand that if we have high hands here, we're going to take the club back with no hinge, and that's not going to lead to the angle of attack necessary to get underneath the golf ball. And even the best ones typically, even when you have no hinge or a lack of it, you know, watch the difference here. That's what happens all the time. You see that right there? And then the club bounced into the golf ball and then kind of hit up into the middle of it. And it's like, I didn't even hit that bad, but I didn't get the angle necessary to get underneath it. So you saw it jumped way over the green, even though I made good contact behind it. The club didn't have the angle to get underneath it. Now, it's important when you understand, like, getting this hinge, getting this angle lower, you know, real low here. Look how my hands are dropped way down right here. What that does is it gets the club standing up quicker, which then gets underneath it like that and allows me to get that ball up and out of there. Now, you create the L so well, almost too well, to where what you do is you just get armsy, handsy, and the swing gets narrow. I'm still really turning my shoulder. Like, watch my left shoulder. You know, and that was a nice one right there. I'm still making that big turn. The L's still being created, but remember, I'm not just picking this thing up alongside me to create that angle. If I get narrow in here, that's where I have to then really kind of throw my arms and hands at it to catch up. I want rotation to really be a thing, not only with our chest, but with our lower body still, okay? Golf club is a pretty special little tool. It can be used as a tool, and if you know how to use it, it's amazing how it works out. The loft of the club gets the ball in the air. Not any attempt that I make to help the golf ball up in the air. Kind of, here's my visual proof to that, okay? Like, watch, I have the face wide open. I'm just gonna try to stick this club in the ground and not even have almost a follow through. Look at this. But look at how money that thing came out, right? So, I mean, I just dove into that and got that thing under there. All I was trying to do was make sure that leading edge got underneath the golf ball and the ball rode up the face and popped out. And that was a short-sighted bunker shot that most all amateur golfers, just because of the visual of that bunker shot, they'd all get in here and just try to, oh, I gotta help this thing out. And you know what happens? The bottom of the swing gets early and then bounces up into the ball. You know, helping it out kind of looks like this. I'm not saying, here, see how kind of like that. But you know what's funny? I know it still came out decent. Notice it didn't come out as nice as the other one. The other one, I really let the loft of the club pop that golf ball out. And that looks more like this, where I'm just in here, I'm just trying to feel the club go up, and I'm letting the club drop underneath the ball. And look how quickly that ball can come out, and just the loft of the club face gets that ball out. Really good for this short-sided little shot. Creating the angle and letting it drop underneath the golf ball, okay guys? Watch my knees. They really get moving this way, okay? And I get the knees moving towards the target. I'm really braced on my left side, and look at, I'm so anchored on my left side, I can really rotate hard around it, okay? Oh, dude. It is such a misconception when people say, oh, hey, you know, you gotta, you know, go across it like this, open the face, and if you go out to in, you know, that's not gonna work, because the problem is, if I go, you know, I can line that face up as we talked about all day at that hole, and look at, if I go out to in, look where that ball's going. In the direction I swung, not over towards the hole. And you know what the problem that everybody eventually learns that, their subconscious learns that, and then guess what happens? They go up like this, they realize, oh my gosh, the target's over there, and then they do this to try to get it back online, and that right there is the number one thing Mike and I see from being mistaught in the bunker. The open up, outside, oh my gosh, target's over there, I'm not even close to it, back up, hit the sand, bounce into the middle of the golf ball, done. Aim square. I'd rather have you aiming right, and then watch, being forced to come over it like that. Me coming over it like that promoted rotation and actually was better off for that golf shot, okay?
At Porzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.